Hello everyone, it's Shel from Paper Octio Studio, and today I'm sharing with you my Mission Inspiration art journal page for December. Mission Inspiration is a Facebook group started by Mike Deacon, and there are 10 steps to follow, similar to our Pick a Stick challenge. And I decided that I wanted to play with my Canvas Corp brand products that I had ordered for Christmas that I hadn't even opened. So that's what I'm using mostly. I mean, I've got, this is an old book page, obviously, that I'm using right now, but I will be using their papers and paints and things like that on my page today. So step one was to cover your page with book page fragments. So this was the book page that I had laying around that I had taken the picture out of the middle of it for the ATC that I did on the video before this, and I am just tearing it up. It's obviously a very old book. It's the paper is discolored, and it's just really cool how the edges of the paper are darker. I don't know. It makes a cool background, and it's a fun place to start with a little bit of collage. So I used that piece of paper, tore it up, glued it all over the page using some fluid matte medium, and then I have this little ATC that I'm messing with, so I glued a few of the extra fragments on there. I thought I cut that part out, but I guess I didn't. Oh well. So that was step one. Step two is to add a thin layer of paint or gesso, and this is just to kind of make everything balance out and even. So because I used, the page is very white, and I used that old discolored paper, I wanted to make the page less white. So I'm using Titan Buff acrylic paint, which is kind of an off-white color, just to unify everything, make it a little look a little bit more, I don't know, unified. Step three, apply texture paste through a stencil. This is the Art Basics brand from Prima crackle paste, but I did heat it with my heat tool and it didn't crackle at all. So, I have very little patience and I don't want to wait for stuff, so it's fine. It made a texture despite not being crackled, and the areas that it is are so small because I used this burlappy looking stencil from Tim Holtz. So there really wasn't much opportunity for it to crackle anyway. So the next step was to spritz with inkor color. So one way that I like to get sprays is in these multi-packs that Canvas Corp brands Tattered Angels has. This one has a couple of the glimmer glazes and a shimmer mist and a baseboard mist. The baseboard mists are just basically a nice spray of paint that doesn't have that mica in it. And sometimes that's what you want. In fact, I'm going to get some more of these baseboard ones. But this one is the fall leaves, but I thought it was a nice vintage Christmas colored set. So I don't always keep them in their packages actually, but this one is new because, like I said, I just ordered some stuff probably in November, beginning of November for Christmas. So I used the mist, the green mist, and then I used one of the glazes and used that for splatter to just add some more color to my background. The next step is to add patterned paper shapes. I had this little die cut set that goes with the stamp set that my friend Peg Robinson gave me, and I wanted to use the Canvas Corp papers from the 6x6 pad that has all kinds of Christmas papers. They're double-sided, so you've got your option of either pattern, that gives you even more patterns because they're double-sided. And I wanted to use those and cut them out and make this little Santa Claus, make it into a little ornament. So I'm just kind of messing around with it, trying to decide what I want to do, and I get out my die cutting machine and my magnetic pad and cutting plates. The magnetic pad is nice because it holds those little thin dies in place so they don't wiggle around. You don't have to paste them down with anything. They stay on there because they're attracted to that magnetic pad. So it's a nice thing to have. It didn't come with the machine. I had to buy it separately. So I'm just cutting out the different pieces of the Santa Claus using the different papers. I do throw in a couple scraps of cardstock. This is like the whole background of it, and so I used a dark brown cardstock, and then I did also use a white skin. I could have made him a black Santa Claus, that would have been fine. But I wanted a little bit more contrast, so I threw in a piece of this peach colored cardstock scrap for the little facial part. Then I cut out some scallop circles out of the same paper pack, and I'm using those to do the step add pattern paper shapes. So these are all scallop circles that I cut out. Same papers, same double-sided papers from that 7 Gypsies paper pack with all the Christmas papers in it. I'm using matte gel medium, not the fluid, because I have that textury background. So I used it instead of the lighter fluid. So the next thing was to add journaling or scribbles, and I was going to write on all the little baubles. I was going to write "'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse." You know, the whole little poem for journaling, but then I just thought, ugh, that just sounds like too much work. So I decided to just add a little bit of highlight definition to the baubles by just making scribbly circles and bows and things on them. The next step is to add a festive focal image or two. So I have this had this other piece of paper, which is from Canvas Corp brand Basics, I think, and it's called Mixed Media Origins paper. This is some interesting paper, I tell you. It is not paper and it's not fabric, but it's some cross between there. It's this very interesting feeling. It doesn't crease easily. It's kind of feels like canvas, but then it's not, because you can tear it, and it's more, you know, it's got paper fiber. I'm not sure how they make this stuff, but my one complaint about it is that they don't make it in just plain. They only have patterned ones. So I'm going to ask, since I did remain on their design team this year for the second year, I'm going to request that they just make some of this paper in white so that I can use it just as a substrate, because I think that would be a good idea. I don't know if they'll listen to me, but I'm going to say it anyways one of these days. In fact, I just did. I just said it. Please make this in white. It's just very interesting paper. Paper fabric stuff. I don't know. So anyway, I'm using those same Tattered Angels mists to do a watercolor effect on here with a watercolor brush, just painting it on. I elected to leave out those 2 leaves that are up there on the left, because to me those look like mistletoe leaves, and the rest of the leaves look like holly leaves. So I don't want those mistletoes in my holly. Although I do think mistletoe is actually one of those type of plants that attaches itself to other plants. You know, like they take a ride on the other plants, but I don't know. Anyway, I didn't want those, so I'm not going to keep those 2. I mean, I'm going to keep them, but I'm not going to keep them. I'm going to cut out everything and then just put that top part on with the bottom part. Also, it's large, so it will make it a little bit smaller and it'll fit better on my 9x12 paper. So I'm just I just painted it up with those same mists, and then I did have to go get some brown baseboard mist, chocolate brown baseboard mist, and I'm just going to fussy cut that thing out, and then I'm going to put it on the page. So you see how I just omitted those 2 leaves, cut it out so that it would fit back together. No one's ever going to know the difference, really. It looks exactly the same, only without those 2 leaves. Then I also have my die cut bits with those little thin dies. That is the Santa Claus ornament, and I'm going to put that together, and then those will be my festive focal images. And it's all got kind of a vintage color theme. This little Santa Claus certainly has the option of being very bright and red and, those type of colors. But in this case, it all seems to be a little bit of the more vintage, the whole page is. So, of course, I used those colors instead when I use the paper pack. That's a nice thing about getting a paper pack, is that it all coordinates with itself. It's designed that way so that all the papers in it go together. And I thought that little very thin swirly thing that came in the die cut pack was pretty cool. That goes around the outside, but then I kind of messed it up on the edge when I was trying to glue it on. Again, using the Liquitex matte gel medium to put all this stuff on. So as you can see, that mixed media origin paper is also double-sided. It has a different design on the other side, and it comes in singles. Like you just buy one single sheet. It doesn't have a set or a pack or anything like that. It's just individual sheets. Very interesting paper. I think all of you should try it out. I'll be sure to link all the things below. I'll link you to the Canvas Corp shop so that you can find this mixed media paper and the paper pad and everything. And then anything that I used otherwise, probably link you to Amazon. So be sure to check out my links below if you want to find out more about what I used. Okay, so all that is glued on, and I'm going to have to give it a really good dry because there's a lot of thick gel on there. So that took a little bit of drying time. You know how I hate drying time. So the next thing was to add a little bling or sparkle. A lot of the Tattered Angels products, including these this Glimmer Mist spray, which is mustard colored, which is kind of a gold with lots of mica in it, and then this glaze, I think it's called Rust, maybe? Rusty something, Rusty, I don't know. Whatever. I'll link it below and you can find out. It has little pieces of glitter and also mica in it. So I use those to add some shimmer and bling and sparkle around my page, applying the glaze with the brush, of course, and then also adding it with a little bit of splatter. And then the Glimmer Mist, obviously you just spray it. It's just a mist that has mica in it. And then I added this little bit of Inca Gold as well. I think the color of that is Old Silver. It's like a light gold color, tarnish color, I guess. Put a little bit of that around the page, here and there, to give it a little bit sparkle and shimmer and bling. The next step was to add a title or a quote, and I just wrote on the baubles. Well, actually, I'm doing some detail work first, but I'll get to it in a minute. I wrote, "'Twas the night," and then at the bottom, "before Christmas. 'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, and hoped that St. Nicholas soon would be there." You know, the poem. So, to finish up, I'm supposed to do a border of my choice, and I just did a very fine black squiggly doodly line as a border, just to border in the page a little bit. And I've got a few other little touches I'm going to do with my Posca pins, and then this page will be complete. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to like it and comment and subscribe and share and all those things. And if you think you'd like to do these challenges, I will link Mike's Facebook group below. Or, of course, you can always join the Pick a Stick Challenge as well. It's kind of a similar, sort of a similar thing. And, yeah, I think that's it. I'm doing some quick white highlights on the holly to make it stand out a little bit more with my white Posca pen, like you do. Kind of scribbly, to go with the scribbles around the baubles. And that's it for me. Thanks. Bye-bye.